Oh, okay. All right,
What is
bet.
up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the Honest Faction podcast. Today's topic is going to be the most influential or just overall best collections and designers of all time, in our opinion. We're going to have a pretty good conversation about that, and I hope you guys can join in. So let's just get right into it. Who wants to go first?
Alex.
Sure, I can talk first about it. So for my two designers that I chose, I'm someone who's really into traditional Japanese punk fashion. So I did Number 9 by Takahiro Miyashita, and I did Undercover by Jun Takahashi. So for my first collection, I wanted to talk about just like Takahiro Miyashita overall as a designer. He was born in Tokyo in 1973, and then he was just someone who is extremely brought up into the fashion industry right away. So having like a odd at home life that wasn't like traditional was something that was like obviously the roots of punk fashion. So he had like not much family values at home, and like his brother was someone that introduced him at first to the fashion scene. So his brother was someone who was really into like the rebellious culture, I guess, and that was happening in Japan at the time. So he introduced him to classic American style, which is, of course, like the flip side of what we have over here. I mean, Americans are invested into Japanese style. Japanese people are invested into Americana. That was like the way it was back then, even more so than now. So Miyashita was introduced to all these American silhouettes, such as like varsity jackets, leather boots, slim cut pants, Levi's, all the traditional American staples. So from there, Miyashita ended up becoming like very falling down the rabbit hole of like not just the punk fashion aesthetic, but the overall like punk lifestyle as a whole. By high school, he was already just drinking, smoking, and just out of the entire loop of like what the normal high school life was like, I guess. So he began spending a lot of time at a clothing store in Harajuku. And then he was working at, not working at, but he was going to Neptune's a lot, which was one of the bigger Japanese like consignment style stores that was selling just a variety of like designer brands or like up and coming streetwear labels at the time. So he ended up going there so much that he just ended up becoming fully invested in it. And then he wanted to create his own collection, which he ended up doing. So one of his most iconic collections that I wanted to talk about and touch on was Give Peace a Chance. So the Give Peace a Chance collection was created in 2004 and was his autumn winter collection show. This is like widely regarded as like the biggest Number 9 collection ever. It has all the heart motifs and patches and everything that everybody used to like is used to seeing and talking about. So Give Peace a Chance, like the entire collection itself, was inspired by the solo release song Give Peace a Chance, obviously by John Lennon. So music's influence on Takahiro Miyashita's like personal style and like design as a whole was huge. So he created this entire show revolving around the song Give Peace a Chance. And it was an anti-war revolution anthem throughout the 1970s in America. So the entire motifs of the collection was actually something that was punk is widely regarded as something that's like a anti movement that's regarded as like rebellious and like at a point violent. But like this collection was like a peaceful rebellion in a sense of where it was just like trying to bring together like design elements that would take American fashion and then implement them into the fact that like we can have peaceful rebellion here without causing like riot. Like it showcases the side of the fact that rebellion isn't just something that's for a bad cause. So that was what Fall Winter 04 was about.
So do you have any like visuals from that, or is that only
yeah, sure. I can pull up some visuals right now. So I have some
just
stuff that I can pull
a
up.
little idea of what you're referencing?
So the Give Peace a Chance collection was using a lot of heart motifs. So this is obviously one of them. So this here was the overall combined look where it was the shearling line jacket, where it was with the heart motifs on it. It was layered with base tones of like neutral colors because like, again, peace, you want to establish like a neutral color palette as it's not like something that should be clashing and should be like violent in a sense. Like the use of black in this collection was actually something that was like very underdone by Miyashita, and he actually uses a lot more black in his other collections as they're more violent or more like out there in a sense. He used the matching pants print in this collection as well. So the print matches from the jacket to the pants, obviously. And then for shoes, it's just a plain pair of brown loafers to blend the entire look together.
this collection was just absolutely insane. Like when I think of number 9, I think about this collection. Like just
For
like
sure.
the whole print is just so iconic. It completely changed like the whole fashion game. Like it's such a sick like collection. Number 9 is insane as a whole.
For sure.
Yeah, this
and
and
then
the high streets are like two of the ones that I think of right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this here is a picture of Miyashita with his personal style as well. So presumably from like what you can see from the t-shirt, he's wearing a cigarettes after sex t-shirt, which is again another reference to his love for punk music, or I guess this like soft rock music. He was more into like the grunge rock, soft rock scene. So that was like a graphic that he used from that motif. And then this is him wearing the autumn winter '08 My Private Portland hat, which wasn't out at the time, I guess, yet, but it follows the same motifs of like westernized wear with like a traditional blazer jacket as well. So he's just combining elements of highs and lows and mixing them with the grunge style.
Cool.
It's so interesting that like the whole Japanese like culture is so influenced by Western, but at the same time, like it's the same thing for us. Like we're so influenced by Japanese culture. Like that's so amazing to me. And it's so weird as well because Japan is kind of like its own like fashion hub. Like it's very surprising that they even take any inspiration from us because they're just so insane themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we look at how Japan influences the American market, it's one of those things that we got to go back into our history and look at how when World War II happened, the end of World War II, we had people stationed in Japan, and we had our own clothing, and they were just immediately like, we can. I hope my stomach didn't just rumble right now, but like we could see something coming out of this personally, and what they do is they take what they love about certain things and just make a complete niche out of it. And I think it's beautiful because like I don't know if it was actually Jackson, I think it was our group chat, the Dick Owens group chat. Shout out Albert. He was talking about how Japanese people are like the ideal American citizen, as how their values, they appreciate what am I trying to say? They really appreciate the underlying values of almost every culture. Like you will not see a single like, I don't know, like it's just they have so much respect for what they do and what others do.
They're very meticulous.
Very meticulous. I love that about Japanese fashion.
To them, it's also about pulling the best elements of like our design and like implementing them into their fashion. So like with examples of like, say, like a pair of Levi's, like creating selvage denim and creating like hand woven denim that was on traditional looms as opposed to factory laser cut denim is something that like obviously like Japanese people are extremely known for now. Denim is like one of the best things that you can purchase from Japan in terms of quality. So yeah, I mean, it's just about taking the best elements of like Americanized style and like recreating them by turning them into traditional Japanese silhouettes and styling them in a way that's outside of the traditional normalities that we go through here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they've been looming Levi's for about 45 years. And they were the first to actually loom for Levi's in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong. About 45 years or so, but they've been doing it for centuries. Textile and design and just overall longevity of fabrics has been going on for centuries. And we see that with Bodo and what Capital does and what Visbim does. And it's just that whole trying to keep together what's left of Americana history and how we take care of our garments and how they give it new life.
The whole process with the Capital denim, like the distressing and the whole hand stitching and everything. People like, a lot of people are like, why are clothes so expensive? And I feel like taking a look at that process really justifies it, for me at least. Like it's just crazy to see how exactly meticulous it is.
Alex, how do you think that this collection influenced fashion though? Like you didn't really touch on that yet.
I think that like the collection had an overall influence on fashion because this is one of the first times that we were able to see influence pulled directly from music culture and American style and implemented into a Japanese style that was like put on a large scale platform. We'd obviously like seen elements of American fashion before in the Japanese realm, but like seeing it on like a higher end level was something that provided level playing field for other designers to create stuff that they saw as fit. So as opposed to using traditional Japanese silhouettes and using traditional Japanese styles, you were able to take something from someone else and make it better by elevating it. And that was considered okay because that was a standard set by Miyashita in this collection.
Yeah, that's totally true. I agree with that.
For sure. I had a question too. How do you feel? Let's see. Damn, I had it perfectly worded in my head. All right, Alex, how do you feel that, okay, do you think that in a post 9/11 world, peace and overall expression of political turmoil has affected the fashion industry, and how?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. So that one there is like, I see that as something that's really controversial because there's a lot of political prints and everything that's been utilized throughout the years in fashion. Fashion often pokes fun at a lot of political scenarios, such as like, if you want to look at more recent examples, you can look at like the Balenciaga campaign logo. Obviously, we were talking about that the other day from 2017. For those of you who don't know, that was like the Bernie Sanders logo. But like, if you want to take like a deeper look at like political things that aren't directly like government related, you can talk about how there is influence on, obviously, Riot was based around the terrorist movement of what 9/11 was. And that was the first collection released after 9/11. So as opposed to being like insensitive about it, you have designers like Raf Simons who are willing to publicize what elements of terroristic style look like in a sense and create silhouettes that almost make it so it's not regarded as something to be fearful. It should be regarded as something that's considered stylistic. And then there's elements of the other side of things too, where Walter van Beirendonck completely canceled his subdiffusion line aesthetic terrorist because of the fact that he didn't want the affiliation of the word terrorist with his brand, Walter van Beirendonck or Wild and Lethal Trash at the same time. So there's obvious like influence on fashion through different peace elements and like instilling peace amongst the world with things like 9/11 happening. But like regardless of whether or not 9/11 happened, there'd still be political references towards whether things are loved or hated.
Yeah, even other things with number 9, like the whole Bush tee thing.
Yeah.
I like
the Bush.
That was bold. Like
the Bush
and then they also did the Bush camo pants, which were they had the Bin Laden
on it
camo
too.
pants as well with the Doberman mix on there, I believe. So they had like the Doberman print with like the dog. Don't get this mistaken for like the Balenciaga like Doberman meme that like everybody, but like it was like Doberman print, but also had like the Bin Laden in it. And I believe it was like a purple and black camo. So yeah, like using like literal elements of terrorism by using like faces of Bin Laden and everything is like something that number 9 is like. Controversy sparks discussion. So by creating pieces like that, you're obviously making it so that people want to talk about it, and that's exactly what we're doing here.
Exactly.
And I feel like they did it well because it gave off like it wasn't just to cause controversy. Like it was genuinely like expressing stuff like with the whole Bush tee thing. It's like father, like son, kind of saying how nothing really changed.
Yeah.
And there are different like motifs of criticizing George Bush, which definitely were not just like, hey, look at me, I'm trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Which is something
totally
which is something that oddly enough Supreme has done, but we know that they get a lot of attention already as they're just one of those staple American brands. But they did a few things following, I think it was an artist, I can't remember the name properly. It starts with an M though, fuck. But they did a set of decks, and one of them had just straight up fuck Bush on them.
Yeah.
They did the stickers too.
They
I
have
thought that was
the
amazing.
Illegal Business Controls America.
Yep.
Like,
And
yeah,
the
they
whole
do have a
shirt
lot
with
of
like the
government.
cherub babies that are like that just says like "fuck the president" on the front.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
That was more recent.
Hmm.
Yeah. That was
All right,
beautiful.
so you want
That
to
was
move on to another collection?
Yeah, let's go next.
All right, I'll go next. So
Yeah.
I chose Helmut Lang, and I said that he was influential because he made basic, everyday stuff that usually wouldn't be anything extraordinary. He made it be regarded as high fashion. So he brought things like denim jeans and T-shirts, stuff that people like, and people would wear every day. People that weren't into fashion, and just made it cool in his own way. He kind of made a lot of references to military uniforms because of his upbringing in Austria, and he would see a lot of those different uniform elements, not necessarily used in a fashion context, but it really inspired like his style down the road. And so for my first collection that I picked, it was Spring Summer 1998. So this was the collection that included the obviously infamous bulletproof vests and the painter denim. And there's also some really great tailoring and stuff that's underrated in this collection. I will throw some pictures up on the screen right now. Hold up. So here is the bulletproof vest. Hopefully that's up there. So
Yep.
obviously everybody's seen that. It's regarded as one of the highest archive pieces currently. And then there's also the painter denim with just a really nice, see, like this stuff isn't anything crazy. Like anybody could walk down the street in this and be like unsuspecting. And then this was especially a look that I thought would work really well with like today's current style because of the whole workwear stuff and the jacket and like the beige colors really just work well together. And this whole collection was just really cohesive, and it worked just so well together and really just unsuspecting. A lot of people wouldn't think anything of it, but the people, it's like kind of like one of those things that's like, if you know, you know. So that's why I really enjoyed this one. And it's just timeless. I mean, the painter denim obviously now is more popular than ever, more memed on than ever, but it's timeless. Like this style, I just think really never will go away, which is why I thought this collection was very influential.
I feel like Helmet kind of caters to like, seeing as he really flourished in like the 90s, like big time. I feel like he kind of caters to like the whole, everyone that was just in like that punk rock, like that era, like the anarchy, like fuck the government type thing. I feel like he kind of gives them something that's not just basic wear, but it kind of elevates basic wear and gives them, like, say if I was like 16, I'm like, fuck the government, everything. And now I'm like 22 and I have to like grow up a little bit. And I can't just be wearing like these huge, like huge high tops with like the laces that go all the way up. Like I need something different. And I feel like that's really what Helmet like catered to and really just like honed in on. And I think he did it like flawlessly. Like Helmet is one of my favorite designers.
In a way that he also did that kind of maturity with the punk is like his incorporations of bondage into a lot of his stuff, like very subtly. Both subtly and out there, because obviously he has those pants that are like spiderweb bondage, like really crazy. And even in I have a jacket, I don't have the straps to it because it just didn't have it when I got it. But the straps can be worn like to change the shape of the jacket and kind of wear it on your back, which I thought was really interesting. And it's kind of like incorporating those little elements of rebellion, but also keeping it minimalist, which was obviously his main thing. Keeping stuff that's really only necessary, but he could also dabble in those into different aesthetics with very out there materials and mixtures of materials that were pretty unconventional at the time. So not only could he do minimalism, but other things definitely were incorporated into that.
I feel like a really good example. Oh, sorry, continue.
Oh, my bad. No, I was saying I could definitely see the rebellious side coming through, and I like that you mentioned that how it's an elevated kind of like punk, because it's definitely a uniform for a silent rebellion, which I think is sick, especially for that time.
I feel like a really good example, like, you know, the parachute coats where they have like the straps like hidden under the coat and they can be worn as like a backpack.
I was going to show that later, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
Might
feel
as
like
well throw it up
that's
now.
like such a good example as well because it's like it's so like you can't see unless it's open, and that's kind
Yes.
of like exactly what you're talking about. It's the punk people that still have that little bit of punk in them, but like they want to be classy, you know? Yeah, exactly.
This is from a later collection that I was going to talk about, but this is what I'm talking about with the jacket, how
Yeah,
it can be worn on your back.
yeah,
Kind
it's
of change the
crazy.
shape of it and still incorporate those punk kind of
Hmm.
little details. It's really attention to detail that makes everything so special with him, in my opinion.
It's
Totally.
Helmet
so
is
great.
amazing.
It adds so much to the silhouette. It's
Hmm.
like
Mhm.
honestly one of those things that I think really improved the way we look at how garments can be worn, not only on your body, but as well as like an accessory.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that he did with this Spring Summer 98 collection is just like so prominent right now with everybody
Yep.
making their own DIY painter jeans.
Ujade.
What?
Ujade.
Which a day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
for real
that's
though.
spring
Yeah.
summer 2004 iterations, obviously, but like you can see the elements of bondage straps being utilized on literally everything. Like if you talk about Dolce and Gabbana from spring summer 2003 to like
Yeah.
fall winter 2009, if you want to
Yeah.
talk about like literally every, not every, but a lot of like Instagram brands that claim to be the not cut and sew ones, it's just like
Mhm.
throw bondage straps on it and you've officially become something outside of like graphic printing. Obviously, like Jacob, like that's nothing to do with like what you're doing,
Oh
but I'm just saying like
god.
there's a lot of brands that are tossing
No,
bondage
yeah.
straps onto basic items and just saying designer now, right?
No,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And I
his
think that's one
influence
of
is
the things that really like it gives like I want to say new is not maybe not new designers, but kind of people who want to claim themselves to be designers, want to be in that
yeah,
realm. They're
Mhm.
just like, I'm in this industry now. It,
yeah,
it just
like that's
kind of makes them look bad, not because they really want to pay homage and they want to like let people know, hey, these are my inspirations, but they do it in a very
it's not a tasteful
distasteful
way.
way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You
It's
guys should see the chat.
oversaturated.
They're talking
yeah.
minimalism, but spelled like minimal LA. Like they're going so funny.
That's so good.
Somebody said, what year
Yo,
is that collection from? It was from 1998, the spring summer.
One of the most
I
iconic.
like,
Yeah,
I like how
but
someone said
Minimalist. I
fired
love
at
that.
Jacob.
yeah, shots fired.
Let's
Oh my
talk
God.
about Dark Shadow.
Yeah, I'll have a few more things to
Dark
say
Shadow.
about Helmet later in this stream, but I'm gonna let somebody else talk about what they chose.
That was good.
Jacob, you want to go or me?
Fuck it, I'll go
All right,
for
bet.
sure.
Let's go.
All right, so let me just recap. I got grandpa memory. So I chose for my. They may not be the most influential or very, I don't know, very talked about, but in my personal opinion, they don't affect, but they really inspire my own design aspects. What I see as pure fashion, in a sense of like, I don't know, personally, I guess. But for my three choices, I chose Yoji Yamamoto Fall 18 Couture, 97 Spring Summer Chanel Couture, and Louis Vuitton Spring Summer 2013 Menswear, which, by the way, Louis Vuitton 2013, anything from those collections, completely fucking underrated. Kim Jones Kim Jones isn't my favorite like art director, but he's pretty up there as far as a contemporary. I thought I'd actually start with that, and then let me see if I can get some pictures coming up here. But as far as Kim Jones, most do know that he was brought up after Marc Jacobs. He had big shoes to fill in that sense. What he brought to the table were new fabrics, as we see with this parka. There's new textile, something that Louis Vuitton hasn't seen before, something very tactical. Helmut Lang did do a collaboration with Louis Vuitton back
What?
prior. Yeah, they did a. Let me grab the book. Actually, it's in the book. they had done a few things, I believe.
I
They did
did
a
not
little
know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I believe this is the Marc Jacobs era of that time. Lang actually came in, did a few projects with them.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
That's
I only
so
knew that.
sick.
I only knew
Yeah, here we
Steven
go.
Strauss, obviously, and obviously, Murakami. But
Yeah.
I didn't know about anything outside of Murakami and Strauss for collaborations.
Mhm.
And what I thought was interesting was the fact that the things that they did together were very minimal. And I did see somebody in the chat did mention how upsetting it was that sadly Lang interrupted his career in like 2005. And
Yeah.
but in the book, it actually talks about how whimsical his design process was and what he does for Louis Vuitton and how meticulous the design process is and how beautifully like effortless that he made anything look, as far as the trunks that they did and some of the flannels that he actually produced for them. But aside from that, they've had countless different collaborations among the years. Kim Jones is no exception as far as a prominent figure in the House of Louis Vuitton. This is just one of my favorite looks so far. Also in this show, they featured something which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't have a picture of it on here, but it was actually what I thought was surprising was Kim Jones brought Capital, the Japanese brand, onto their own like collaboration, which isn't documented at all, by the way.
Wow.
Mind you, it's not even in the book. From what I've seen, there's nothing in the book.
What book is it?
It's the where'd it go? Oh, here it is. The Louis Vuitton: A Passion for Creation, Art, Fashion, and Architecture.
Cool.
This
cool.
is.
You're sideways, eh?
I am. Oh,
Just thought I'd let you know.
I have a picture that's up next. My bad.
Oh, okay.
But no, but dude, this book is amazing. It has so much detailed information and it's fucking fat.
Yeah, it's
Like,
thick.
sick.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Big time.
I don't want to pay the 90 US retail though. I'll try and find a used one.
Oh, dude, good luck. I don't know, man. I haven't found one that's any cheaper, honestly. But
Damn.
aside from that, though, so that was one of it wasn't one of their most expressive looks per se, but it's definitely something that I can honestly say was very inspired by Helmut Lang. Very rugged,
sure.
very, it's out there. It's something that you wouldn't usually see from Louis Vuitton. And another thing that we know with Kim Jones is his valid appreciation for mountain wear, arc'teryx, a lot of niche mountain hiking things, as we know, because he works with I don't want to butcher his name, Thibaut. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very much inspired by that aspect of mountain climbing, rock climbing, nature, a lot of very UK-ish vibes with the bucket hats. But I don't know if I can zoom in or not. Oh, I can.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see that.
That backpack.
Yeah, backpack is very inspired by, obviously, like Patagonia, other big outdoor brands.
It's like,
but what I thought was
for the trend.
Yeah, exactly. And what I also thought was interesting was the use of metal accents on the buckles compared to, as we see, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Rick Owens. I think it was Fall Winter 17. They had plastic buckles instead, which were coated in like I think it was just a matte buckle.
Oh really?
Yeah, but yeah, same with the metal accents on the straps. It's just beautiful, and I love the tone. I'm pretty sure this is a nylon material, and if not, it's most likely leather, which is
fucking incredible.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Making leather do, like, I'm probably zooming in way too much, but
It's
but
cool.
just
I
to
didn't even
show
know
the
you could do that.
details, like it's immaculate. Like
Yeah.
to make leather bend and move freely like that is
Mhm.
extraordinary. And as we know at Louis Vuitton, they are leather. Like,
Yeah. As a company,
they're
producing
the
something
leather
that-
company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, of course, we now know there are many others who experiment more with leather.
Right.
So following that, you guys have anything? Any questions?
Yeah, I was
before
just gonna
move
say
on?
Berluti by Hyder Ackerman was creating leather scarves this year for their fall winter 2020 collection,
Oh,
and then
really?
they were doing
Crazy.
full leather suits, bucket hats, like they had leather turtlenecks, but like the roll neck style ones.
I
So
don't
they
even
were
know how you do
Totally
that.
experimenting with
Dude,
the way that you can cut leather, and obviously like the way in which it moves, which is really cool to see that they're able to keep like the integrity of leather as a material, but also make it so volatile in the sense that you can just move it and shape it how you want.
Yeah, another person, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I talked about this with Carson. Carson actually told me about this. You know Struli Rex?
yeah.
He's a dude that did that recent whole deliverance suicide art project, but his old designs were really forward thinking with leather. He actually used apparition leather, which is what Rick used on those like geo baskets. He was like the first person to use that in fashion.
Right.
And
He did jackets out of those.
yeah, and that's just one thing that I thought of when you guys were talking about leather.
Yeah. Cerulli, he made the ring out of his own skin before too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
He
awake.
sold rings like out
I
of
know.
skin that like he peeled off of himself. I don't know
Yeah.
how or like how
He
many,
had
like,
it surgically. Was it surgically done?
Yes.
Was it a one of one though, or did he like produce mass?
Oh, 101.
But no, if you
What
saw
the
like a
fuck?
close-up picture of it, it had like hair still on the ring.
Dude.
Yeah.
Fucked up, dude. It's one of those things that really pushes taboo.
Really.
Like taboo in fashion is one of the most
That's
interesting
just
things,
gross, dude.
dude.
What the
Dude,
fuck?
it's amazing. Like, imagine what you could do with human material.
My
God.
God.
Who is buying that?
I'm
I want
if
to
we
know
wanna
what
talk about
retail
using
is.
humans as materials though. Who is
I
the
think it was
designer
just
that
for himself.
made the bag out of the spine?
Yeah.
Oh, is it Arnold?
Arnold Pucher. Yeah, I think that's like the third time this has come up with us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it is. Dude,
comes
it's
up
so
repetitively,
weird because
but-
he ethically sourced that shit. How do you?
How do you-
ethically-
That's not ethically sourced. I
I
don't
feel like
care
he can
what
use
you
that pretty
say.
loosely.
Yeah, he did. He really did. And I think it's funny because he's a very sarcastic person. And you see that with his fucking stories and everything that he does. He just doesn't care. And it's funny because I don't really know his stance in fashion at all. I don't know. He's
That's
just
all I know
there.
about him, to be honest.
He's just there.
Yeah.
Like, he's really close friends with Denma. He's cool with Rick. Like, cool enough to hang out with fucking Michelle at any event. Like, literally hang out in the cars that she drives in, which is big
right.
deal.
Michelle's sick. She gets a lot of
Yeah.
hate. She is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
she's
real.
amazing.
Mhm.
All
But
right,
yeah,
should we move on?
Sure.
sharing.
All right, it's
Go
my
ahead,
time to
Christian.
shine. Okay,
Your
so
time to
I'm doing.
present the class.
I feel like I'm on a class. I'm like all nervous. Okay, so I'm doing the Wild and Lethal Trash 1997 collection. And Wild and Lethal Trash as a whole is like, it's pretty unknown. Like, obviously people know about it, but for the influence that it had, it's pretty unknown. And so I had really never looked into this collection before I knew that we were doing this. And so basically this entire collection, so it was kind of separated into 3 parts, which is really weird. Like, I've never seen any fashion show like that. And so the first one was like, I'm calling it like the Intergalactic Fighters one, because they had like these big helmets and it was all like aviation wear. So like if you were a pilot, they had like these big MA1 bombers and like all these straps, and they were like all black and tinted out visors and stuff like that. And it really reminded me of like something out of like Star Wars or something. Like, it was super, super cool. And they had like silver coats. I'll pull up photos after this. And then so the second part, it was like I'm classifying it as like aliens. So they came out and they had like green hair, and they had it was like red pinstripe suits, and it was like blazers, and it was all tied into like these whites and cream colors. And it was really weird because he went from this completely like monochrome for the most part to this like this really bold, like completely Walter, like Walter's super bold and like neon greens and purples and everything, oranges. So it was a really, really weird transition. And so I kind of classify that as like the futuristic like society. So it's like the aliens, like usually you classify them as like the bad guys, but it was kind of like when you think about like a futuristic society, usually a lot of people think about like white, like clean cut, like no colors, nothing. And that's kind of what this was, aside from like the pinstripe. And it just reminded me a lot of like future tech. And then so then there was part 3, and I was so fucking confused when I was watching this. I had no idea what was going on until like I really, really like honed in on each piece. And so I'm calling this the circus because it was just fucking like mayhem. So it, literally one of my notes for it is hectic as fuck. And then so I said that it was kind of like a Thing 1. Like, have you guys ever watched the Thing 1 and Thing 2 movie? It's like this, yeah, it's like a super colorful town, and it's just weird, and I'm uncomfortable the entire time that I'm watching it. And that's just kind of how I felt with this collection. So it was like super Walter, super like bold, like large colors, like these color palettes that he picked. I don't even know how you come up with them. Like he's coming with these like neon pinks, and then he's throwing in like vibrant blues, greens, like just the whole rainbow. And one of my notes is absolutely no design theme other than color palette, because there wasn't. Like there was just like plastic materials, nylons, like all this different stuff. And like weird avant-garde clown-like garments is what I would classify it as. Like it literally looked like you were at the circus.
Is that what's in the thumbnail with the super like stilt with the stilt legs?
Oh, that's from another collection, but it's like that. It's like that. Okay. And so let me pull up some photos actually. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this, because like it's really difficult to describe unless you can see it.
Someone in the chat said it sounds like an acid trip.
Yes, it does. It does. Here, so let me try and screen share. Okay. Here it is. All right, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just enlarge this. So this was how many looks were in the actual show. So if you can see, like I don't even know how many rows of people. Like there's probably like 60 to 80 looks in this. Like it was a 25-minute straight fashion show of just people going. And so can you guys see my mouse?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, it looks like Lazy Town.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it does.
And so so this is kind of what I'm talking about for like the whole like intergalactic thing. And you can see, I don't know if I have, so this is like, let me just enlarge this. So he's got like the big visor. It's shitty quality because it was 1997. But this, and then he's got like the MA1 bomber, and then he's got like these big pants, and they're just like, they almost look like if you were to crash in like a plane, they'd be like heat resistant because they're just so thick. And so it went from this, and you can see if I make this bigger, it's got like, I don't even know what that is. I thought it was ribbing at first, but it's not at all. It's like circles, and I don't know what it is, but it's super, super sick. And they even came out, one guy came out on rollerblades, and he was like rollerblading down the runway. And he was doing spins and stuff. So I thought that it was super cool how like a traditional like runway show, right? They're all walking down, they're very uniform, no expression, no smile, nothing. But for these guys, they were like rollerblading down, they were smiling, they're just like, they're walking with like this groove, and like it's so cool. And like this it was just so abstract. And I literally said, this is what it reminded me of. Like it reminded me of just this color palette, like an ice cream truck. That. Yeah, and it's just so super like cool. And so like, how did this influence fashion? Well, I feel like Walter, like you can see right here, like this is so avant-garde. I feel like it's a whole other category. Like it literally looks like Willy Wonka. Like it is just so insane. And I feel like Walter is really like techie, right? and he was one of the first people to ever have a website. So I feel like this really, really influences like the whole tech wear. Like even we were talking about Hamkiss, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
whole tech wear, I think that he definitely influenced that with just like you can see all the guys up here. I feel like it's not the exact theme, obviously, but just the whole tech and futuristic, like the post-apocalyptic theme, like all of that. I feel like it's really, really cool, and I feel like this collection really defined Walter because it got worldwide attention. And like the stage design of this, I just have to bring this up because I thought it was so cool. So the way that they like walk in, and it's like an arch. It's like this. It goes up and then down. So they walk down that, and then they walked down a grand set of stairs out into the street. And the street, there was no barriers, nothing. There were just people lined up on the street looking at all of these models. They walked down the street, and then they walked up the stairs into another building where there's a whole nother viewing room. And then it was the traditional like runway where it was like you go out, you pose, and then you come back. And then you're completed your look. And every single one of these models had to do that. And so I feel like he just completely he just changed shit. Like nobody does that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and especially he's like the oddball with like the Antwerp 6, right? Like everyone has got those like those themes, like just kind of like dark core and stuff like that, but he's fucking, look at it, like it's just it's mayhem. So yeah, I feel like he definitely influenced a lot of tech wear, and I feel like he played a huge role in avant-garde because this is just like I don't know how you'd wear half of this, but I could see you wearing some of like the black, maybe a few of these pieces down here you could wear. But when it gets into like the circus shit, like people are wearing like giant like plastic like dresses and stuff, and I don't know what he's doing, but I completely respect him because he was like one of the 6 Antwerp, like the Antwerp 6, and he just did his own shit and didn't give a fuck. Like he just did whatever he wanted. So
Somebody asked what show this is, so if you could just repeat.
This is spring summer 1997. And there's a whole like archive. Just look up like Wild and Lethal Trash 1997 Vimeo, and you can watch the entire collection. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Okay, cool.
Like yeah. So
Extremely underrated.
Very nice.
Yeah, like literally nobody talks about like anything from this, and I don't know why. Nobody talks about Walter, it seems like, and he played.
I feel like Middleman brought like a lot of attention to it, and like without him there wouldn't be like a lot of people talking about Walter. It feels if he's done like a really good job enlightening the fashion community on smaller brands that like not a lot of people are aware of, like with Kansai Yamamoto and with Walter van Barendonk, and I think it's I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but there's just a couple of other like smaller Japanese label brands that he's really like brought some light onto. So I feel as if like Middleman definitely brought a lot of attention to Wild and Lethal Trash and older Walter van Barendonk pieces.
A direct correlation. No,
oh my bad. No, you go, bro.
Okay. A direct correlation that I forgot to mention about how he influenced Virgil for his spring summer 19 Louis Vuitton collection. There's a 3D pocket bomber. Alex and I were talking about this. It is literally like you can directly see it from one of Walter's like pieces. It's got like the puffy pockets. It's the exact same thing. So there's like a direct correlation to influence. It's super cool. Yeah, that's
another thing that
my entire thing.
I like.
Another thing that a lot of people don't realize as well is that Walter had 2 interns recently that are pretty famous in the fashion community. So in the early late 1990s, Walter had Raf Simons, who was a furniture designer, interning for him at his office, and basically Walter just had him like as a personal assistant, and Raf had no intention on being a fashion designer at all. And then Walter van Barendonk brought him to the Martin Margiela Spring Summer 1991 collection. And that was Raf's like turnaround moment to start realizing that he wanted to get into fashion design.
Yeah, same with Craig.
And then later on in this new generation, Walter van Barendonk's intern was actually Craig Green. And we all know where that's gone to. And Craig is by far one of the most influential, or not influential because he hasn't really had enough time to become influential, but like I guess just like one of the biggest emerging faces in the fashion industry.
Definitely.
he's done a lot for just as far as representing our generation of fashion, our love for architecture, our newfound love for architecture. Because we see a lot of people getting into mood boards. We see Hidden NY posting a lot of modern day architecture. And I think we have a better appreciation for sculpture art more than ever.
Sure.
Yeah, because we see Comme des Garçons a lot of the times way back in their roots. They did a lot of sculpture work with their dresses. And I went to Dover Street in LA where they have some of the dresses, like the archival dresses on display.
Yeah.
And it was like beautiful to see because they're amazing.
Dover Street is literally like, it gets a lot of hate, obviously, because of like the whole memes about the employees and stuff. But the like different levels and the presentation is just, it blew my mind when I went.
It's honestly unmatched. The employees are they're a little something though. I won't lie. They're a little rude, but like it's just an amazing place to be. And if you have a Dover Street near you, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Somebody, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but somebody said Virgil references a lot and people criticize him for it. But I think it more so shows commitment for fashion history. And the problem comes from his inability to take inspiration without adding enough of his own design to it.
He copies a lot.
Tastefully done and not tastefully done. I'm torn on it because he does a good job with designing it and actually creating like really elegant pieces. But is it paying homage or is it taking elements from smaller designers that didn't really get enough spotlight in the first place?
That was Fox.
As we see with
talked about this too last time.
We did.
Yeah.
But I think to shed a bit more light. Now I feel like I have a little bit more information. I mean, I guess my only real source is Diet Prada at this time, only because they talk so much shit about Virgil. It's kind of funny. But I just think that in order to really like you can express your inspirations in so many different ways. You can even dedicate the shows to them. You can dedicate collections to people. But when it comes down to independent designers and what they do when they work with other like big designers, like we saw with, I don't know if you guys saw the one where he had like a green screen over the runway and it was like this big thing. Playboy Cardi was in it. They actually had an independent designer, I forget where from, I think it was an American designer from Detroit as well, who actually made this graffiti print for tracksuits. And he wanted to, I'm sure he was just excited to be there, but Virgil literally took it, rebranded it, and gave no credit.
See, like that's not respectable to me at all. And that's like, I respect Virgil because he's like we've talked about like the whole LV and like the Kanye and Virgil thing. Like I respect him for that because he just completely took over the whole market. But like it's like it's sketchy territory. Like, are you completely copying the design or what is it? It has to be like 70% your own or something like that.
Yeah, it has to be 70%. There has to be a 70% difference.
Yeah, and it's like, is it? For some of the pieces, it's very questionable. But I mean, like, who's going to file a lawsuit against Louis Vuitton? Like,
you're not going to win.
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah, because they have every lawyer in the entire world.
I mean, when you're talking about the biggest overall corporation, they're a corporation.
Yeah. LVMH in general as a whole.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like LVMH will represent them, which means that it's even more than just Louis. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, you're fucked. You got
you're big time fucked.
You're fucked. It's like, imagine if
oh, sorry, continue.
Oh, my bad. No, but imagine if like Kering, another leading corporation in fashion, they own Saint Laurent. Fucking Jesus Christ, Berluti.
That says enough. Yeah,
that says enough. Like, those are like family owned, big ass corporation, $1 billion. Like, we own the strips that you guys consume. Like, it's one of those things that's just like the people you don't want to get behind, like the people you don't want to get on your bad side because it will fuck everything up.
I feel like the only possible way that like an artist could even potentially get anything out of it is cancel culture, as toxic as it is. If you
God.
if people started like canceling like Virgil for all this shit, but it would never happen because of the diehards at Louis, like ever.
You can't. And it's interesting too because I'm a bit torn now because I mean obviously I love what Virgil has done for Louis Vuitton. He
No, he's done some really, really cool stuff.
Dude, like I've seen it in hand, his beadwork, the beadwork that his team has like experimented with, it's fucking phenomenal. Like I would honestly say it's almost up to par with Dior's. Like, and they've been doing that for fucking years. Like they have their place in Turkey that they get all their beads from. They have their whatever, but it's just like one of those things that's like interesting. And I think what he does is he encapsulates Black culture into that elevated aspect, which gives a lot of power to not only the Black Lives Matter movement, but it gives other independent Black artists more, I want to say, freedom for their own artistic ventures. Because you see a lot with, like, let's say Samuel Ross, extremely talented guy.
ACW, best stuff.
Yeah. Aiko Wall is amazing. He's an architecture student too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is definitely clear in his stuff, definitely.
Yeah.
It's obviously apparent he does a lot of, which I think is amazing, by the way. A lot of my stuff is honestly indirectly influenced by Samuel Ross. His like nylon that looks like fucking concrete. His like leathers that he uses that look like treated wood stained in like a lot of his just like, I don't know, I'm saying like so much.
When you start to notice it just gets
somebody
worse.
said man speaking facts in the chat.
Yo, you know the vibes.
But not like you were talking about like the diehard fan base for Virgil, especially where like Chicago, which I'm really close to.
Because he gives a lot back to the local community.
So many people wearing Virgil's stuff. Like
he gives a lot back though. That's why they support it, because they see that he's an influential figure in that area who's like created, like he's broken the not poverty cycle, but like I guess the cycle of like a lot of people in that area are set up for failure. And Virgil has like proven that he's capable of, and like other people are capable of following their dreams. What's not to idolize about that as someone else from that area?
No, for sure.
Like a hometown hero type thing.
Yeah,
especially when he had the MCA exhibit lines for so long.
That is
it was
Chicago
just like
based.
I'm like not obviously like the hugest fan of him, but it was so cool to see something come out of that. Like the whole, and like I don't know if you guys are with RSVP Gallery, the store, but that was started by Just Don, Kanye, Virgil, all those dudes together coming up in Chicago, and it was just really cool to see another person from that whole realm make it that big.
No, I have complete respect for him for that. I just feel like some of his designs are iffy. Also, there's a guy in the comments that is just absolutely going ham. He's talking about
Cole,
everything.
Shout out to Cole. He is going crazy. I wish we could mention everything that
he's just talking about Virgil right now.
Oh shit, yeah.
I mean, he said if you use the copycat argument with Virgil, it applies to every other designer copying designs because
he gets the bad rap a lot. Like
he does, but he gets the bad rap for a reason. If nobody had a reason, then he wouldn't have a bad rap. Like
there's a lot of others doing the same thing, but he just catches the brunt end of it because people don't like his designs, which isn't. Really
I also feel like it's one of those things that he's a new face, and the fact that he completely took over from Kim Jones, and then you got to understand, Detroit loves Kanye and Virgil, but the thing is that who's giving back more, which is, I don't know, man. Like
it shouldn't have to be that competition.
It shouldn't have to be a competition because at the end of the day, it's love from your community. And like one of the things that I remember is that in music, your hometown is like the most dangerous place to have a show because of that influence. Yeah, which is weird to say because those same people who support you will stab you in the back.
Well, you're supposed to get out of your hometown the second you blow up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, we should move on to our next topic, guys.
We're 54 minutes in.
Okay. I had a few other I had those other two, but do you guys have any more influences or just shows that you guys?
Everybody's gone through one. You got.
Okay. I guess I'll cut through to Yoji then. This is Yoji Yamamoto.
We might have to go 2 each, guys, just because.
Yeah.
If we're going.
Yeah,
this
we're
way,
50 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this.
We-
So this is my favorite one by far.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
facts.
this is amazing.
Yeah,
That
I
is
actually,
sick.
new Yoji and new Undercover are actually better than old Yoji, old Undercover, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I love the new Undercover, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like you just upset a lot of people by saying that, Alex.
Yeah, I probably did, but it's okay.
Dude,
Like a lot. Like a lot.
like the whole fan base.
Yeah.
But right here we have look 3 out of honestly what I think as my absolute favorite Yoji Couture piece ever. Honestly,
That's so sick.
The layering in it, something else.
the layering. Not only that, but the structure, the fact that you can keep fabrics up like that, and that's a heavy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is. I believe it's a wool or maybe
It looks like a
Yeah. Maybe like a wool cotton blend.
a wool. It's very. It has a lot of texture,
Mhm.
but what I love about this is the juxtaposition between the feminine figure and
Mhm.
the silhouette that it contains. Because my whole point of doing Chanel and Yoji with this was the opposites. The way that it shows how the feminine figure can be presented, and with Karl Lagerfeld, it's very feminine, obviously in nature, very form-fitting, very lovely, very like eloquent. But you see these like the structure, and I honestly think that it adds so much more power to the feminine like body. Like the female body is like, it's amazing considering the fact that not only is the palette super dark, it's one of the most expressive like tones I can honestly say. Black is very, very versatile. It has different tones, which I think is crazy to think that people don't believe that there's different tones of black. It's just really
you can
funny.
do so much. Like you can get away with an all black wardrobe for a reason.
And this isn't the only look that I actually found pretty interesting. A lot of people don't realize that Yoji also works with other materials other than mostly like cottons, wools, other nylons. He's also
sick.
pretty handy with leather.
That is
that's
amazing.
crazy. I don't even know how to
Like a corset,
do that.
like on the
It's-
exterior.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It looks detached, but it also has stitching along there. So I would assume that it is partially a corset. The
Some sort of,
GR.
like exoskeleton, like tree bark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Advanced warfare.
it's
Amazing.
amazing.
100%. And what I thought was interesting were the boots, as it also contains
Oh
those.
wow.
That's cool.
It adds a lot of context to what the leather pieces are. Obviously, just I would assume regular leggings, just for
They
show.
look like it.
Yep.
But the makeup as well,
Yeah.
Mhm.
wow.
it's
Oh, it
gorgeous.
goes into her hair.
It does.
That's
It's-
so sick.
That's really cool.
It's
Yeah.
something that Margiela did a lot too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did actually.
Extending like the clothing or the makeup into other parts of the body, which is just so
Yeah.
interesting.
or
Always
like
have.
they had like graphics that have blended into tattoos as well before. Like I've seen that happen where it's just like faux tattoos that are like partially like taken from the shirt, and like if you had a short sleeve, like it would continue to like the arms of the person.
Yeah, hold
like,
up. I'm actually gonna try to find that right now.
like Raph Simmons,
Yeah,
when he did the tattoos for, correct me if I'm wrong, 2001, I believe, 2003.
I have
think it's
no idea.
I think it's consumed. I'm
Yeah,
not
it was
100%
consumed.
sure. I'm pretty sure it was consumed though.
It was definitely consumed, but I'm just
Yeah.
trying to think of the year. I think it was 2003.
Yeah, that would be 2003 then.
It consumed 2003, I believe.
Yeah. So
Those are some cool ass pieces. The first one I find especially cool too because a lot of like women's wear is very like conform to their body to show off like the assets. Per se, I mean, I guess it's not the best way to word it, but how it's like it's kind of baggy, right? And it's just got like that it's just very unconventional for women's wear in my opinion.
Yeah.
right. And this is a piece from Chanel's 1997 Their Couture, which obviously you can't argue that this isn't.
No, Chanel does the best couture for women's wear, regardless of how mainstream it's gotten and how like sought after the pieces are. The craftsmanship that goes into Chanel couture is unlike anything else.
It's immaculate. Like
Yeah, it's perfect.
this is tulle. A lot of this fabric is tulle with my phone almost fell.
Hunting for the picture I'm thinking of the Margiela paint, but I can't find it. So whatever. If I can't find it.
This is just an amazing piece overall and one of my favorites, honestly.
No, they do such a great job with all of the couture pieces. Like it's, I guess, yeah, you do have like the signature Chanel shapes and styles by creating stuff like the tweed obviously and everything. It's like the biggest Chanel element. Is that Chanel as well from couture?
Yes, this is.
I love that.
Dude, it's like one of the staples that I see when I think Chanel anything. I immediately think of this look right here.
Here it
so
is.
Good.
This is so elegant.
See this? How they had stripes on the shirt and then down to the pants with paint.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
That reminded me of that.
Oh wow, dude.
Damn.
Jackson dug into the archives to find it.
Yeah, bro, for real. Flex on everybody here.
No, that's a great book.
Yeah, it is.
Margiela, the women's collections.
That's sick.
All right, Alex, you have your next one?
Yeah, sure. I can go on Undercover by Jun Takahashi. So once again, I'm gonna like cause a bit of controversy by saying this, but
oh no,
Undercover like newer seasons to me are better than any of like the older season Undercover. Don't get me wrong, older Undercover was amazing. I think Scab was like a really good concept, obviously, as like even though it's become mainstream. Witch's Cell Division, like all of them were good collections, but I just think that like what Undercover has become now is just it's flourished because of the capability that it has with it's capable of Jun Takahashi's capable of using luxury materials because he has the finances to do it. He's capable of setting up artistic style theatrical shows because he's capable of doing it.
Especially with the Nike stuff. Definitely has a for it now.
Gaisoku is a technologically based collaboration, I guess, right? So in a sense of where it's just like performance but also style, you're now able to create those technical fabrics that is like they hardly even had stuff like that at the time, whether or not it was at a certain price point.
I mean, but like Scab is kind of cool to me because it is like he was on a budget and he was still able to make something like that sick. Like that's kind of like super sick. Jacob, you're sideways again, eh?
Am I sideways? Oh my God.
I want to talk about
there you
I want
go.
to talk about Spring Summer 2020 collection. So just like a brief history on Jun Takahashi, like if like anybody like is unaware, he was at Bunka Fashion College, and at the same time he's just like Miyashita is. He was extremely indulged in music. He was actually part of the Tokyo Sex Pistols, which is like his own band he is the lead singer for, which is really sick. I seen some clips of him playing the other day and singing. He shreds on the guitar too. So
I want to see that.
Oh, sick.
And then I was also just like, I guess that his influence also comes from, I mean, Tokyo Sex Pistols is a direct tribute band to the Sex Pistols, obviously the British band in which Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren based their aesthetic around when they're creating Sedestionnaires or Vivienne Westwood like as her own women's wear line. So he was extremely inspired by like British punk culture. So after graduating from college, him and Nigo, who is his also friend that he met at Bunka Fashion College, went on to start Nowhere, which was the retail store in Harajuku that they created together. They actually started the store on less than $4,000 in today's like current market value. So it was around, I think it was like $800 or $900 like US, but in yen at the time to start an entire store like retail, which is insane. That includes like product stock, everything. So they started extremely small and just had to build their way up from there. So the space is rented, and the two soon-to-be icons believed in the concept and continued to progress. It became super popular just because it was like an outlet for skateboarding, BMX, hip-hop music. It was just the coolest spot to be in Harajuku at the time, and it just began to expand. So at the same time, while operating Nowhere, he started Undercover, and then Nowhere just became too much to handle while also operating Undercover. So he left Nowhere and began to just fully focus on Undercover. So from there, I just like talking about spring, summer 2020. The collection was titled, one second.
Sorry about that, guys. I gotta,
It was titled, I Hold a Beast, an Angel, and a Madman in Me. So I watched this collection and I was like super interested in it because I saw all the pieces and it was pretty monochromatically black. But all of the graphics were inspired by Cindy Sherman, who's an artist that's work consists of completely just self-portraits. So although all the graphics are different people on them, like if you guys remember seeing, I'll pull them up in a second, the coats that have the graphics on them with people, and they have the shirts, the blazers, it's all just different faded black and white graphics on them. But they're actually all just her in a form of a self-portrait styled differently to recreate elements of B-movie characters in female roles. So it's just all her throughout the entirety of it, which is really cool to me. And then the title of the show itself was called I Hold a Beast, an Angel, and a Madman in Me. So it's a quote by a Welsh poet called Dylan Thomas. And I think that like the way that like I'm able to interpret what I see from the show is the fact that like all these characters being the same person but portrayed in a different exterior sense, it shows that there's multiple personalities underlying within a same person. So holding an angel, a beast, and a madman within oneself would be like an interior, like interpersonal battle with like multiple personalities or like struggling with like different emotions. Whereas like Cindy Sherman's work is an exterior showing of what all of those elements are. So I can just pull up some of the pictures so you guys can get like a better understanding and like reference as to what all of these were and what I'm talking about. So like this is the iconic jacket. I'm actually like pretty close to pulling the trigger on this one. I might buy it.
So sick, dude.
Yeah. So I really love this graphic. And it was just all these characters are just like the movie characters that were like not really overly well known, but Cindy Sherman just recreated the graphics with portraits of herself styled differently.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I saw these in person. They're amazing.
You seen them in person?
They're woven.
Yeah, I was considering buying the jacket. There's one left in my stock. Please no one buy it off Essence. I'm just waiting for this to go down.
Watch somebody just buy because you said it.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's at like 800 CAD right now. So like 600 US.
It's worth it.
Just waiting for it to drop a little bit more and I might pull the trigger on it.
I don't think it'll drop because there's only one in stock.
No, I know.
And then, that's scary. That's gonna be tough. Yo, shout out
of Jun Takahashi for like his older collections. I guess this is him wearing scab jeans and
that's
some
so
combat.
sick.
So this is just like personal styling that he did.
Sick.
So I think this is like really ahead of its time as well because this is just like not I guess mountaineering style that like is more incorporated with like the hike core that we have today. If you look at this photo, you could probably like without like the face of the model, you could look at everything and just be like, oh, this is Capital or this is Bisbim from like this area. It looks a lot like the Grizzly boots actually. So like I think it's just crazy to see like how far ahead of his time his old work was, even though like I still really do enjoy his old work. His new work is amazing as well.
Yeah. Like
no underappreciation for his old work, obviously, in my opinion. But like I just think that his new work's insane.
It's classic. I have some of his older work, the Scab Jeans, the 2009 rendition, and the God, what is it? I don't even know how to say it. Let me grab them actually.
Yeah, I had the Witch's Cell Division like blue short jacket. I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
so
dude,
it's just a lot of.
I have the scab bag, the original one coming.
What is this? I don't own any Undercover currently, but
the Claws denim, the hybrid
Yeah.
jeans.
Oh,
Can you
you
get
got
those
a
for cheap?
steal on those. I remember you telling me.
Yeah,
sick.
dude, these
Oh,
are
man.
amazing. And I believe with what was her name? I believe it was Penelope something. I'm like blanking right now. But with that said, a lot of the older, I think, at like post but beautiful
hmm
and arts and crafts, they had
Oh,
this
I
logo.
know who you're talking about.
Mhm.
Give me 1
infamous
second. It'll click in with me.
lightning bolt.
We're
Wasn't
at
it-
69 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll click in. Hold up.
Oh, word.
I
Yeah.
totally know what you're talking
For
about.
20 minutes. For 20 minutes.
Patty Smith. Yeah. So
Yes.
the Undercover lightning bolt
Yeah,
is
okay.
inspired by
My
Patty
ass.
Smith's lightning bolt tattoo on her knee.
And all like and Emil Meester
Yeah.
stuff has to do with
Yeah.
Patty
Yeah,
Smith. too,
Patty
and
Smith is like a huge influence. She was like, I guess, I want to say not really punk, kind of just like soft grunge rock, I guess.
And
I'd
now
say
Patty Smith,
alternative.
ever since they've been friends, like won't step on the stage without an and piece on, which is pretty dope.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't
Really?
know that. Yeah, Patty
Yeah.
Smith is a legend though. She has some.
Wow.
Yeah, she definitely has huge swing on fashion industry.
Dude, that's amazing. Shout out Patty
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah.
Someone
right.
said, "Hey, goats" in the chat. No
Yeah,
biggie.
someone also
You're the
said
greatest.
It's up,
all
King.
of you have similar haircuts. Oh,
This
Somebody
is the
says
third
that every
time
If you
it's
get
been
over
brought up.
100 viewers in this chat right now, I will shave my head live.
Not
on
right
stream.
now. I thought this offer was just forever.
No,
So
like
it's-
once we get over 100 viewers like at a time on the stream, I will shave my head on the stream while we're talking about fashion still.
We have a
deadass.
new marketing
So,
ploy. We
this
have
Deadass.
a
Undercover collection.
everybody has to. Everybody,
Yeah,
Everybody has
I got
to share
the clippers
this.
at home. I'll talk about everything you guys want and just chalk it all at once.
This is
So,
a
100 viewers in the
marketing
chat at
ploy.
No,
guys.
for real. Somebody said it's quarantine. I mean, like, I really get a haircut right now. I mean,
Nah.
I'm not gonna cut my own hair. I'm not
I
gonna
need
let.
one,
I
dude.
cut my own hair twice, but like it's
Oh.
just I'm only doing the sides because I don't know how to do the top part.
Yeah, Sam.
Dude,
I haven't
I'm
done
like
the-
growing a mullet type.
Dude,
thing.
I have fucking sideburns.
My barber just got here actually.
I was gonna look like Bubbles' character by the end of this.
Bro, I need a haircut so
Yo,
bad.
if I don't cut my if I don't get my hair cut, I'm gonna look like I'm really gonna like look like an
Shout out
character.
Sarah for cutting your hair though.
She's right here.
Oh really?
Shout out
Shit.
Sarah.
What's
Yo.
up?
Hello. Yo.
You want to come in?
Yo.
Oh,
What's up, dude?
She's making my bed. I'm
I have a haircut appointment for June 10th, so I am hyped. I cannot wait.
Damn, that's
Damn,
deep.
bro.
Yeah, I know.
How long ago do you make the reservation?
Like 2 weeks ago.
What
Oh
the
my
fuck?
god.
Again, shout out to Yoshi, my barber. He has like, even when there's no quarantine, it's like booked out 3 weeks.
Damn, bro.
Oh, shout out all barbers, deadass, especially in this time. Support your local businesses.
Yeah,
I'd love to,
their
but they're
income,
fucking
their
closed.
income is cut.
I'd love to, but they're closed.
Yeah.
All right, shall
All
we
right.
move on?
Yeah, sure.
So
I have another helmet collection, this time fall winter 98. 1st I'm just going to throw some pictures up on the screen.
Perfect.
But the reason I really think this collection is super influential is because it is the first ever presentation of a fashion collection online. He totally ditched the whole traditional runway and actually just presented it on his website. And I have a quote from him actually. It said, "I felt that it was in many ways a new beginning for me and also a new beginning for how to communicate my work. I sensed at the time that the internet would grow into something much bigger than imaginable. So I thought it was the right moment to challenge the norm and present the collection online." So,
Wow.
and not only was it presented online, but I really like the looks from it too. It, although color isn't like the hugest thing and it's more like silhouette, he just absolutely killed the color palette for this. Transitioned perfectly from like, as you can see on here, a more cream and white, kind of monochromatic, but kind of like, I love this color palette with the different shades of white and sort of like yellowish.
Super low key.
Obviously, he had the parkas, a lot of different tailoring underneath, very layered kind of winterized look to me.
Mhm.
Next, we have he kind of switched over to more browns and grays to sort of keep with the same theme, but just present it in a different light. And then he totally switched to these amazing, I don't know what material this is, but this bright
Oh my
neon
God.
kind of lime yellow that I think
That's
is
so insane.
beautiful. And
It looks like maybe mohair, but I don't know.
yeah, and
Are you able to
it
zoom
looks
in on
like-
that? That's gorgeous.
What's
Yeah,
like
it is
on
gorgeous.
the
It literally like
sleeve?
drapes so nicely. It looks like, I don't even know, somewhat transparent. It's just really nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think
That's
that
sick.
this color would be included with the rest of this stuff, but it somehow
It's like muted, but at the same time, it's just it fits. It looks like I hate to say it looks like because I guess it would look like this, but the Yeezy Season 3 shearling jacket,
Yeah,
like
it has
the
that same exact tone.
yeah, but like also used with brown and like neutral color palette because obviously it's Yeezy as well, right? So
Yeah.
like definitely like seeing that same color palette comparison.
Yeah, I just love the flowiness and just like the material is so
Perfect.
beautiful. And this
Yeah,
is
that's
super
so
cool.
one of my
perfect.
favorites. They also had other things with this material and color, kind of like different sorts of tops. If you guys look up this collection, really pretty. And then at the end, they sort of shifted to more of a tailoring aspect with just black and white. I really like the way the sleeves on this jacket or the shirt underneath kind of flare out.
Yeah.
Very minimalist, very kind of everyday, but with a little helmet twist.
Mhm.
And another thing that I really liked about this was that just like the materials used were so beautiful from the beginning to end all the way through. He found different ways to kind of combine these different materials that really just worked so well together. And another material that was used that really stuck out to me was like the final looks, which were made out of this. I can't tell. I think it's like sort of what is
Wax
this?
nylon maybe?
I
Yeah,
have
it kind of
no
looks like
idea.
patent leather kind of jacket or coat.
Oh wow.
It kind of it
It
does,
could
but
be-
it doesn't. Like the way that it moves,
I think
it
that's
doesn't
poly
look like
because of the way
leather.
it crinkles, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very PVC-ish.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like polyester. That's cool though. And like
That's
look
sick.
at the way that the sleeve stacks, but also
Mhm.
like comes
Cool.
together in such a uniformed way at the sleeve cuff though.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
perfectly
yeah.
stacked, but it also slims in enough to the point of where it fits, and it's not just like a drapingly long,
Yeah.
oversized sleeve. That's so well executed.
And like
That's
the
so
body,
sick.
Oreo looks.
the body to material interaction of this totally contrasts this.
Yeah, like it's the harshness as opposed to the
Definitely.
soft. Like yeah, that's
Like it
Oh,
looks
wow.
like this. It looks like this isn't even like a garment. It looks sort of
No.
to me it reminds me of like a spirit like flowing around the body. It just looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like an embryo. It's very organic in form. It moves very like liquidy. It honestly looks like a knit. But if there's any pieces that I find from this collection, and if I find that, I'll definitely share it with you guys. That's crazy.
Bought the crossbody bag. I got
So yeah,
or not
from beginning to
crossbody.
end, here's just a little bit of a quicker like wrap up of it. It goes from this white and cream, very kind of delicate, modernistic, minimalist colors to more browns and grays. Then this pop of yellow for a few looks,
That's
and
so
then at
good.
the end, very sleek.
Oh, that
tip.
was like a huge transition between the two for just like that one look to the next. I didn't
Yeah.
realize like it was like that like night and day. Like I thought it like gradually broke into it, but that went from like neon yellow straight to the black look right away.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
That's super sick.
Yeah, and just the fact that this was the first online presentation in fashion,
Yeah.
completely revolutionary. So many people are obviously doing that now. The
Yeah,
state
for
of
sure.
the internet obviously is very different, but the fact that he was as forward thinking 22 years ago, just very,
Yes.
very
Crazy.
It really does suck that Helmut's work only went on to 2005
yeah.
because like I feel like there could have been like a lot. I mean, obviously, like he went to pursue what he wanted. He did architecture after that and like interior design. So like, kudos to him for following what he wanted to do. But like, it was just like 1996 to 2005 was like the only like real helmet work that like is publicized in a sense that like got like high amounts of not criticism, like praise. So yeah, I just
Yeah,
think
and
that,
ever
like,
since then, this is just kind of to wrap up Helmet. Ever since then, just
Helmet's
what's
been a
been
shit
happening
show.
with it is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah,
Helmet's so bad.
they have destroyed his name, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I
It's
mean,
just-
they got
God.
they got Shane Oliver, which is like
Mm-mm.
for Helmet from
I
HBA
just
to
feel like
Helmet.
Helmet was about how much branding is really on helmet pieces? Like
Literally
Helmet's
none.
about minimalism. Helmet is about creating like silhouettes that talk more than what the design does, or sorry, like silhouettes that talk more than what a graphic ever could, right? But like now
For
I feel as
example.
if it's just like tie-dye, logo plaster, like bigger box
Yeah.
logos, like more branding, monogram, like let's just throw extra stuff. Like I don't know how I feel about it. It's just like if it was any other brand, I'd be like, oh, okay, well they're just kind of doing like what other brands are doing. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
But like knowing that like Helmut Lang went from like a minimalistic, like elevated design to what it is now makes me kind of disappointed.
Yeah, and bro,
Yeah.
Travis Scott was literally the creative director at one point.
Yeah,
Wait,
he did
what?
the
Look at
sweater
this.
and the track pants with like the graphic on it. That was I sold
Oh
that
my
hoodie, and
God.
I'm kind of like I
Wait.
bought that hoodie for the purpose of selling it. Obviously,
Are
Did
you
not wear it.
serious?
So
He
bad.
created, directed that collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is absolute garbage, in my opinion.
No, Travis didn't do that part. Travis did
Not that, no.
he did.
No,
one
I know.
where it
I'm
was
just saying I
like,
hate this.
I think it was like a nuke or something, but it was just like you know when you take the what's it called? You saran wrap like an image and then you like put an iron over it, like steam iron it.
Yeah,
No,
right.
he did.
Yeah, so it like makes like the box shape. He did
Yeah.
like those style logos, but like with like a nuke or something on it.
Yeah, hold up.
It's
I'll
just,
pull
like,
it up.
Helmut Lang.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah,
Yo, oh god.
This.
I thought that it was a collab that they were doing.
Yes,
I didn't know that
Jake.
he was
Oh,
creative.
This
for
is
that.
not
that-
Helmet. Like I don't get the thought process behind it.
Yeah,
That looks
that's
more like Subi. That's on some. I know he did something with Subi as well, but dude, that's trash.
Oh, that's I don't know.
It's
It's
not
like
Helmet, but
dude. It's literally
Looking
taken
at-
from Rap Simmons' playbook.
I don't consider that
Yeah.
helmet at all.
looking at what I just showed you guys compared to this.
The Helmut Lang 1996 to 2005 is the only real Helmut Lang.
Yeah, helmet ended in 05, in my opinion.
Yeah, spring
ever
summer
since the
05
whole
is the last.
product.
Ever since then, it's just a money grab.
Dude, it has been, and I think that's just the way that sadly it's gonna be. Helmet isn't interested anymore. He's done
No,
what he's done.
he started
for it.
doing design again. Remember, like just like 2 or 3 months ago, he went back to designing his first T-shirt again for Helmet, but it was
Are you
like a really
serious?
logo heavy one. Yeah,
I thought it was I thought the last thing that we saw from him was his art, like because he did the pillars of.
no, he did a T-shirt design for Helmet again, and then I think they released it, but I'm not sure. But
saw some
it
interviews
was
with
just
him.
one T-shirt.
I saw some interviews with him about the whole. He was talking about sculptures and stuff. Seemed really
His artwork is
interesting.
impressive. I liked a lot of that
Yeah.
as well. I've been seeing
It
some of
is. It's pretty sick. If they,
Right.
I think one way that honestly, if Helmet really wants to get back, he should incorporate his art into the clothing. And if it makes it more expensive to add those art pieces, give it a bit more of an archaic feel, then
You can
maybe.
charge a premium knowing
I
who he
can't-
is. Like,
I can't help
pay a
but-
premium knowing that I'm buying into Helmut Lang's new like artwork directed by him, as opposed to the stuff that we're actually buying now is still Helmut Lang prices, but
Yeah.
worse
Yeah.
design, worse quality. So what
Yep.
difference does it make to pay more for something that you appreciate more? I guess.
This is just going to be really quick, but I want to talk about another collection, which is I'm just going to go through it really quick. I can't help it. Fall
Yeah,
Winter
for sure.
'99, which included
Crazy collection.
whole Astro type looks.
Yeah.
Obviously, very
Big fan.
shiny silver materials, clearly inspired by like space and astronaut suits. But also, if you look at the bottoms from this is like one of the
bike
first pieces
styling.
of
The
Moto.
bike-
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that
Shout
was
out
really
Mike
interesting
Meary.
to me.
Shout out Balmain.
I swear I had a pair of Old Navy pants in like 8th grade with those ribbing on them. They were like
Other
joggers.
Astro parkas, different looks with this silver material, which was just really
Mm.
forward thinking and
Those are amazing. And then that was actually, I think it was Fox fur on the collars too.
yeah. And then also I already showed this picture before, but this-
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
I didn't
gorgeous.
realize they did a burnt orange. I knew they did the green and I knew they did the cream, but I didn't know that they had the
Yeah, I
orange.
didn't know they did the orange
Yeah.
either.
there was
Dude,
a
I
whole
love the burnt
orange
orange.
section to this collection, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
That's just
Which
a
is
strong
also-
color.
which also
Yeah.
sort of reminded me of like spacesuits or like the suits from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
not directly influenced, but kind of reminded me of that.
Mhm.
No, definitely. I could definitely see that.
This
That is-
last like
I love
Princess
the shoulder
Leia
detailing
looking
on that. That is
dress,
beautiful.
so
Mhm.
pretty to me
That's
with
sick.
the arm straps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Super
Need me
like
a girl who wears
space
helmet.
queen-ish.
Mhm.
Need me an archive helmet, girl. Come on, man.
All
All
right.
right. Is it my turn? Finish it
All
off.
right, is this the last one we're going through then?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, unless you want to do another one. Do you have one more?
Okay. I think we
Okay.
covered a lot. So we can do this as our last one.
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna like
Christian.
try and like quickly go through this because we're kind of taking a long time here. So I'm doing Spring Summer 2017 for Heider Ackerman, which is by far my favorite collection from him. And so this whole collection was kind of just like abstract materials, abstract color schemes, beautiful tailoring, slim tailoring, like everything was just like gorgeous. I'll pull up some photos. It was just like it was revolutionary to the future. I feel like nothing has changed yet. Like he hasn't influenced anything yet, in my opinion, from this collection. Why can't I scroll? Okay, there we go. But if you look down here, like these are beautiful. Like
The
they literally
crafted blazer is so amazing.
speak for themselves,
Oh
and you can
my
see,
God.
yeah, like they
Yeah.
are gorgeous. And this is why Alex and I have been talking. We feel like our
Yo,
Heider is
shut up,
one.
Christian. Shut up, Christian.
Oh
Shut up.
nope, never mind. So
Don't
yeah,
put on Hyder Ackerman. I'm trying to cop all of it myself.
yeah. So like basically, I'll go through it quickly. Like the bomber jackets, like like you see right here. Bomber jackets are like typically they're very like rigid and they're meant to last. But I feel like this is very innovative of him, and he's using like silks and like very high level materials to incorporate into these bombers, which I feel is fucking amazing what he's doing. I feel like this collection is widely regarded as his best collection or autumn winter. But I feel like this collection like really solidified him in menswear. I mean, he's obviously already been crazy. He was let me look. He was offered to be the successor for Dior, Margiela, Chanel, and he was also called the Yves Saint Laurent of the modern era, which is quite a big statement. Just another fact that I thought was really cool. He was born in Colombia, and then he moved to Ethiopia, then Chad, then Algeria, and then France, and then the Netherlands, and then back to Belgium for the Antwerp Academy, which he was then expelled from because he didn't do his work 3 years later. Yeah, he also did an internship with Galliano. 2001, he created his own label. Then 2003, he worked for another brand. And then it just kind of all took off from there. So yeah,
Dropping knowledge.
Heider
I
is
just
just
Berluti now, and Berluti right now is
Yeah.
amazing too, and it's totally
mhm.
like me and Jacob were talking about how beautiful Berluti is right now, or like even before, like as like a heritage menswear brand, but like
Yeah.
Berluti does not get talked about.
Not at
all.
all.
Berluti is one of those staples in any like
Yeah, like
I don't even know what the word is. Man,
Just want you guys to admire this piece for a second.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
one piece that I'm after right now.
Insane.
I'm after a couple Hyder pieces, but I just recently bought a Hyder suit from Fall Winter 17. So
The thing is beautiful.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
actually put it up right now.
7
Please do,
racks
please do.
retail. Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Bless
Yo.
everybody's eyes.
Okay, all right. I told
It's
everybody
so
in this
beautiful.
chat what I paid for it, but I don't want people asking me what I paid for it right now because I do need to sell it eventually. I'm just holding on to it for a while.
dude,
Cannot
it's so
disclose.
sick. I can't believe you got it, dude.
Yeah,
It's,
so this is a sample Hyder
Insane.
Ackerman suit from Fall Winter 2017. The original runway one was velvet and it was leather. And then this one here is houndstooth wool with leather combination and contrast white stitching. So
It's
I'm super happy to have this one and in my
absurd.
size too. So I'll be wearing it to my prom.
Oh, leaked info. Yeah.
damn.
So essentially, Hyder is a goat, and he's just going to keep going. And people, as people start he already has a cult following, but as the cult following progresses, I feel like he is 100% going to be like analyzed in one of these collections, like spring, summer, or fall, winter. It's going to be one of his best collections of all time. You can see it. Like, look at it. Come on. Nobody's doing that. So,
Dude, I also love this presentation because not only is it like, I like to think Hader does everything for himself. Not only that he's an affluent person, he comes from obviously a not so great background, I would assume. Colombia, those times was very hard. A lot was going on in those times.
His father was a map maker, which is cool. I didn't know that.
Interesting. That's an interesting career. Yeah. But him just being able to work with Belidi and how much history they have, like they've been around for fucking centuries, dude. Like,
Berluti?
Yeah.
These are just some of the cool ass looks.
Yeah, Berluti is like the heritage menswear brand of heritage menswear brands. It's like
they're the forefathers.
You could be your average guy walking down the street and like you could be wearing Berluti and people would be like, they'd recognize that it's really well cut, but there's nothing that's like insane about it. It's just to the point of where it's just like you perfected the basics down to the teeth.
Look at the cut on this suit. My God.
I actually
saw those tutorials.
I was thinking about buying them.
Dude. Oh my God.
This is what I'm talking about with the color palette and just how like everything is just abstract, but everything works flawlessly. And to do this, like how the fuck do you even think about this?
Shout out to Sandy for putting me on Hader Ackerman probably about like 2 years ago, I think. But
dude, you know what's crazy? I knew about Hader, but I just didn't get into it. And I honestly regret it because I could have been around for a lot more things.
Like, no, I know. Like I just started buying it. Like I have the Perth sweats from 2014, like the distressed double layer ones, and then I have my blazer coming in, and then I have a few more
pattern work.
Yeah, dude.
So like I could have gotten my hands on a lot more if I was into it before, because like just I like Antwerp sales when you come to sample season or like sample sales, like I could have got so much, and that's so disappointing that I didn't.
Dude, sample sales in Belgium and Antwerp are just
I'm willing to fly out to Belgium just for sample sales.
I've been to Belgium 3 times. It's crazy.
I've never been.
It's insane.
I've never been.
It's like insane. This is one of the best pieces from the collection, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the Crepe de Chine blazer. So I was actually thinking about buying that one, but I somehow managed to get my one for a better price than what that one is, because I saw that one for 1,800 USD, and I was like considering it, but I don't know. That one, yeah, I was really happy with getting my one. So
yeah, Hader is a GOAT, and he's only going to get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see him as the same thing. He's going to progress a lot more. It's especially actually Hader Ackerman right now, like the brand label itself is still affiliated with Hader, but I think that my favorite thing about them, despite the fact that their designs are outstanding, my favorite thing is the marketing ploy that they use with Timothée Chalamet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I actually think that like, despite the fact that like, yeah, he's just like, I guess like a lot of people just see him as being like the pretty boy face as opposed to like just like a talented actor as well.
Yeah,
but I see him as being like the DiCaprio like type of like influence like model of our generation. Like obviously you have like DiCaprio, you have who are some other faces? Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
You have like I guess James Franco. Like if you're looking back even further, but like Chalamet to me is like the influence when it comes to menswear for what like our future generation will like look up to. So seeing like Hader putting him in suits for every single runway occasion, and him wearing Hader like very casually as well, and like Hader and Prada are basically like his two go-tos. Like, I think that's like a really smart marketing ploy by both companies to not take advantage, but to utilize the fact that they see potential in someone like him. So
yeah, somebody just said Brad Pitt. That's a really good point with the whole Eddie affiliation with his wedding.
Yeah, Brad Pitt is.
Somebody said Adam Sandler.
I didn't think
Adam Sandler. Dude, Adam Sandler's wardrobe and Uncut Gems.
Crazy. So Billie Eilish could run.
Someone said that it's pronounced Hader, not Hader. I don't. Maybe I was pronouncing it wrong. My bad.
It's pronounced Blade, guys.
I thought it was Bladey.
Wow, chat,
All right.
chat was
Well,
going
we're
off.
coming up on a minute 35 or an hour 35, which is probably what we had last time. So
Yeah, that's
Roughly.
great.
This was one of my favorite
Yeah, this is
live
really
streams.
fun, guys.
This
Since
was so
I
fun.
actually- I learned a lot. We had a really good conversation.
Facts.
Thank you to
Yeah.
everybody who was commenting in the chat. Sorry we couldn't get to everything, but you guys
Damn,
were
dude.
pretty active, so I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For real.
thank you guys.
I gotta pee.
But yeah, thank you for everybody who tuned in. We really appreciate it. Make sure you tune in a couple weeks for our 4th episode. I think this was a great one. We'll see you in the
Yes.
next one.
See
Thank
ya.
you guys.
Peace.
Follow me, dude.